All right, so we talked about how to solve a triangle when you're given a side and an angle. The other scenario that you will face is if you're given two sides, no angles other than the right angle, obviously, because it's a right triangle. So you don't have either of the other angles, and all we have is two sides. If you're given two sides and no angles other than the right angle, you're going to do two trig problems, and then you're going to use one Pythagorean theorem problem, okay? So two trig problems, that's how you're going to find the two angles. One Pythagorean theorem problem to find the missing side. So let's start with our two trig problems. I'm going to start with angle A. Now, this is going to be important that you think through each question, each part separately. So if I'm finding angle A, then I'm focusing on angle A. From angle A, 5, the number that's one of the sides that's given to me, is opposite to angle A. 2 is adjacent to angle A. So 5 is opposite, 2 is adjacent. Opposite and adjacent is tangent. So what I'm going to write down is going to write tangent. The angle still goes here, even though it's unknown. Tangent of A equals the opposite over the adjacent. 5 over 2. Then I'm going to solve this by just doing my inverse tangent. Since all I'm doing is figuring out what this angle was supposed to be, I'm going to do my inverse tangent. So it looked like this on my calculator. 5 divided by 2, and that's what I'm going to plug in on my calculator. Let's clear this out. So I'm going to do second and then tangent, and then 5 divided by 2, and enter. And let me drag this over here. Oop, there we go. All right, so 68.19. So if I round that off, it would be 68.2. So angle A is 68.2 degrees. So let me put that there. Now, I could just subtract to find the other angle, but I think that it's very important that you go ahead and do the trig because it's a great way to check this first one. Okay, so let's go ahead and find angle B using trig, not just subtracting, but using trig to find this other angle. Angle B, now, if I'm over here at angle B, from B, 5 is not the opposite from B anymore. It's the opposite of A, but from B, 2 is opposite, and 5 is adjacent to B. So now if we're focusing on angle B, 2 is opposite, 5 is adjacent. So it's still tangent because it's opposite and adjacent. But the opposite is 2, the adjacent is 5. So when I put opposite over adjacent, since I'm not at angle A, I'm at angle B, this ends up being the reciprocal of that one. Okay? All right, so angle B then, use our inverse tangent, tan -1 of 2 divided by 5. And that's going to find our other angle. So I'm going to grab my calculator again, do second tangent 2 divided by 5, enter. Let me drag this down here. So we have both of them now. So 21.8. So angle B is 21.8 degrees. Now, I mentioned a moment ago that this is a great way to check your answer. Okay, what I mean by that is these two angles should add up to 90. And so you could, real quick in your head or on your calculator, ask yourself, did these add up to 90? 68.2 plus 21.8. Do those add up to 90? 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 8, 9, 10. Carry the 1. 6, 7, 8, 9. Look at there. Adds up to 90 degrees. This is a great way to just check your work to make sure you did it correctly. B, 21.8 degrees. All right, the final thing that we have here, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit because we're going to run out of room. The final thing that I have here is to find this missing side. Missing sides are something you've been finding for quite a long time. To find AB, I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared, that's going to be the 2 and the 5, equals the hypotenuse squared, in this case, that AB. I'm going to write it like this. 2 squared is 4. 5 squared is 25. 4 plus 25 is 29. And then we're going to finally do the square root of 29. Take the square root of both sides, and we end up with the square root of 29, which is, grab my calculator one last time, second, and the x squared button has the square root, I think. Yeah, square root 29 equals, and let me go ahead and drag this over here, put it on top of this one, so now we have all of our math done. 5.38, so round up to 5.4. Minimize that. 5.4. Scroll back up here to the top. So AB would be 5.4. So we did 2 trig questions, and then we did 1 Pythagorean theorem question. And just so it looks nice, I'm going to go ahead and scroll back down and put my little box around my work. All right, so there you go. So there's finding angle A, angle B, and AB. So if you're missing 2 angles in a side, this is the process that you would use to find the 2 missing angles in the side. And I hope that was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, please let me know.